What is up, guys, and welcome back to GameBird Classic. Today, we're going to be diving into the ultimate Zelda debate. Traditional Zelda design from A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time versus the more modern open-air design of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Both of them have their strengths and weaknesses, but which one will reign supreme? That's what we'll be discussing today, and what does the future of the series look like? So ladies and gentlemen, grab onto your Deku nuts, because we're digging in.
And up.
For those Slim Jim.
You're watching GameBird Classic.
One more thing. Don't forget to hit that like button and smash that subscription button so you guys can be notified when I upload brand new videos. Take it away. First up, let's talk about old school Zelda. The classic design has a lot going for it. For one, classic dungeons in titles like A Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time are still considered some of the best experiences in gaming. These dungeons were carefully structured with complex puzzles, enemy variety, mini-bosses, and an epic final boss battle that tested a player's skill. The themes of these dungeons added another layer of depth and character that newer games in the series just can't hold a candle to. I'm talking about the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time and its haunted castle setting, or even the Ancient Cistern from Skyward Sword, where you go from this eastern heavenly temple to this hellish depth, just to name a couple. Also, the satisfaction of unlocking a new area after obtaining a key item made progression feel more rewarding and more meaningful at dungeon completion. And speaking of meaningful progression, classic items played a massive role in defining the old Zelda formula. The spin top, hook shot, iron boots, the beetle, so much more. The mirror shield, these weren't just tools for combat. They were essential to puzzle solving and traversal. Imagine how incredible it would be to see these items make a triumphant return in an open world setting, scaling cliffs with a hook shot, or using this spin top to grind across a chasm, or spin top racing against an NPC, just a couple of right off the top of my head examples. Or just using iron boots to uncover secrets and puzzles below the water. Having these things seamlessly integrated into a massive organic world could bring back that strategic, tool-based exploration that older Zelda games perfected. I understand that Tears of the Kingdom has things like Ultra Hand that can cover a lot of these bases, but what we lose is those amazing moments of finding the true solutions. In Tears of the Kingdom, there's often a one-size-fits-all problem solver that, while tons of fun, kind of sucks out some of that reward of solving the dev's puzzle with its one true solution. Another major highlight of classic Zelda games is obviously the music. From Ocarina of Time's Gerudo Valley to A Link to the Past Dark World theme, or even the incredible sense of adventure in the score from The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. The music in older Zelda titles is instantly recognizable and deeply nostalgic. These soundtracks weren't just background noise, they were an integral part of the adventure, reinforcing the emotions of each moment. While Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom took a more ambient, minimalist approach to music, many fans, including myself, long for the return of those iconic, grand orchestral pieces that made every dungeon, every battle, and every overworld trek feel legendary. And let's not forget storytelling. Classic Zelda games often had clear, structured narratives. From Link's childhood journey in Ocarina of Time to the parallel worlds of A Link to the Past, older Zelda titles provided rich, character-driven stories with well-defined quests and objectives, while Breath of the Wild embraced a more open-ended approach to storytelling. Some players felt that the fragmented memories and minimalist narrative left them craving for a stronger central plot, myself included. Tears of the Kingdom improved on this a lot, but due to the game design, you were forced to watch similar cinematics multiple times, and you could still experience story beats out of order. Now let's switch to the modern Zelda era. The open world formula introduced in Breath of the Wild and expanded on in Tears of the Kingdom has completely redefined the series. Gone are the days of linear progression. Players now have the freedom to explore at their own pace, tackling challenges in any order. This sense of organic discovery is unparalleled in the games industry, making every mountain peak, hidden shrine, and deep cavern an exciting adventure waiting to happen. Breath of the Wild's tutorial alone is the greatest that I've ever played. It organically teaches you how to play and moves the story forward without any hand-holding or obnoxious immersion-breaking moments. One of the biggest improvements in the new formula is the removal of tedious filler content. Older Zelda games, while incredible, had moments of padding. Think the infamous Triforce Peace Hunt in The Wind Waker or the tier hunting in Twilight Princess. Modern Zelda has streamlined the experience, ensuring that exploration and progression always feel meaningful, and if you're doing something you don't like, you can just go somewhere else and do something else while still moving forward in the game. Another major leap forward has been the introduction of voice acting. For the first time, Zelda characters feel more alive with fully voiced cutscenes that add depth and personality to the world. While not every vocal performance has been fantastic, there is no denying that hearing Zelda, the champions, or even Ganondorf speak has elevated the emotional impact of the story. Moving forward, refining voice direction, and maybe even giving Link a more active role in the dialogue could make this even better. I'm not saying Link needs to be fully voice acted, but I don't know, like little vocal moments or a little bit more emphasis on dialogue choice with Link would be really cool. However, not everything in modern Zelda games is perfect. One of the most debated features of modern Zelda is weapon durability. The weapon deprecation system in Breath of the Wild was a bold experiment, adding realism and encouraging adaptability. But many fans, including myself, found it to be a frustrating limitation rather than an engaging and fun mechanic. Weapon breaking led to me personally spending way too much time in my inventory, breaking the immersion of a tense fight. I also found myself hoarding my best weapons and not using them because, well, I didn't want them to break. I used all my crappy weapons all the time. Classic Zelda weapons, on the other hand, once acquired, were permanent, allowing players to master their use without having to worry about them breaking after a few encounters. Would a compromise like reforging weapons or allowing certain legendary weapons like the Master Sword to be unbreakable with no cooldown be the best of both worlds? And for all the weapon breaking defenders out there, and I know you exist, if weapon breaking is so amazing, why aren't people begging for this in other games? Like, don't we need weapon breaking in Final Fantasy or God of War or Xenoblade or Astral Change? Wouldn't it be awesome if your weapon broke in all of those games after 4 to 5 hits? Sorry, I'm just saying. I don't think it's that great. It was whatever with the first game. Second game, they made it a little bit better with the fusion system, but I think we're ready to move past that. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the big question. Classic Zelda or new Zelda? And what does the future hold for the series? If I had to choose right now, I'd still lean toward the traditional Zelda. While I love the open world sense of discovery, the innovation, and the freedom of the newer games, some of the series' most defining staples, the elements that made me a lifelong fan, have been left behind. The dungeon design, the progression tied to iconic items, and the more structured storytelling are what made these games so special to me. For me, The Wind Waker remains my favorite Zelda of all time and my favorite video game to this day. After that, it's probably a tie between Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and A Link to the Past. But right after those, I'd probably go Tears of the Kingdom. That alone says a lot about how much I appreciate the new direction, because there's a lot of 10 out of 10 Zelda games for me. So, where does Zelda go from here? Classic Zelda excels with its superior dungeon design, iconic items, memorable music, and focused storytelling. The new open-world Zelda games offer unmatched freedom, improved pacing, and deeper immersion through voice acting. Both styles have their strengths, but neither feels complete on their own. Ultimately, I believe a more hybrid focus between the two styles is the way to go. Nintendo should bridge the gap between old and new, incorporating some of the series' strongest staples that have been missing in recent games with the freedom and innovation of the new titles. Imagine a Zelda game with intricate dungeon designs and iconic items of the past seamlessly integrated into the vast open worlds of today. That's a formula that could truly elevate the series to even greater heights. Tears of the Kingdom was a step in the right direction. The game introduced more music, a more focused storyline, great bosses, and a real villain unlike Breath of the Wild, and it made an attempt at something closer to real dungeons. None were as memorable as any of the past Zelda dungeons. In fact, the journey to the Wind Temple in Tears of the Kingdom was incredible and one of my favorite moments in the game. It almost felt like a mix of Zelda meets Mario with kind of the platforming and scale of reaching the heights to the dungeon. The boss was also epic and incredible. The dungeon itself, though, was kind of boring and kind of forgettable. But looking ahead, I believe the next Zelda game will be far different from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. The team will not want Zelda to feel stagnant again. Nintendo has always reinvented the series, and I think they're going to aim for a sweet spot that blends the best of the past and present while continuing to innovate and surprise us. Perhaps we'll see a more structured main dungeons, items that unlock new areas, and more defined narrative, all while preserving that incredible sense of discovery that make modern Zelda games also so special. The future of the series is bright, and I cannot wait to see what's next. But what do you guys think? Do you prefer the classic style of the older Zelda games, or has the new open world innovation won you over? Sound off below. I want to hear your thoughts. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, smash that subscription button, go ahead and twist that notification bell so you guys can be notified when I upload brand new Nintendo-based content or some fun skits. And I'll see you all on the next GameBird Classic. Peace!